Navigating the new normal, post-divorce survival tips. If divorce is throwing your life into upheaval, it's time to take the reins and thrive in your new normal. In today's video, we're sharing game-changing survival tips that will help you reclaim your power, rediscover your passions, and build a future that you love. Ready to turn chaos into clarity and emerge stronger than ever? Let's dive in and start your transformation. Where you are right now is a really difficult place to be. Life is hard following divorce or an excruciating breakup, and everything can feel really chaotic. And you've probably been trying to figure out how to get it back together, how to get your life back together and your situation back together, maybe you're parenting or whatever. You probably don't even know where to start. And you may be familiar with these statistics. I share them not to be discouraging, but hopefully a little bit motivating. Somewhere around 50% of first marriages end in divorce, and over 60% of second marriages end in divorce. And how you navigate this moment in your life right now will determine which path you go on. One of the main reasons why 60% of the second marriages end in divorce is because most people end up in the exact same kind of relationship, just with a different person the second time around, because they haven't done the work to really come to understand themselves and what they need in order to be healthy and to thrive. So they end up subconsciously landing in the same type of relationship with the same underlying process that existed in the relationship that didn't work. And if it didn't work the first time, it's not any more likely to work the second time. Chances are pretty good that you're feeling a little lost and confused about how to move forward and how to reinvent yourself in this new reality. In this video, I'm going to share 3 tips to help you navigate this moment and begin to move forward in your life so that you can not only just survive, but thrive. The first tip I want to share is to stop looking back. And depending on your temperament, your personality, that can be really hard to do. It's hard for a couple of reasons. One, and it's important for a couple of reasons as well. It's important because you already went through the difficult part of getting out of a relationship that wasn't working. And you don't want to keep looking back, trying to ruminate and process and dwell on something that you're not in anymore. It's not healthy and it's not helpful. And one of the reasons why our brains do that is because neurons that fire together wire together. And we end up with these neurological highways in our brains. And our brains want to process information the way that they always have processed information. It's efficiency, and our brains are constantly trying to look for shortcuts and ways to make energy more efficient and processing more efficient. And so our brains create these neurological highways. And so your brain wants to keep going back to what it knows. It takes some mental discipline to stop continually looking back and forcing yourself to look forward. What a lot of people report when they're where you are is feeling kind of stuck. You're sitting there and you don't want any of the options that seem to be available to you. And so you feel stuck. And you probably thought, if you're like most people, you thought, okay, if I can just get through the divorce, you go through all of the pain of like deciding or having it decided for you and working through all the logistics. And if I can just get to the other side of this divorce, then I can have some peace and then I can start recovering. And then you get here and you're like, it's still here. I don't want backwards. I don't want forwards. And so you can feel really stuck. And here's the crux of the tip that I want you to really practice. You have to be moving to heal and get out of where you are. What I would recommend that you practice is to ask yourself, what is the healthiest option that I have right now? Well, I'm going to force myself to get out of bed, or I'm going to force myself to go exercise. If you can just, when you feel stuck and immobilized, our brains are eager to please. Our brains are eager to help us, but they need direction. 9 times out of 10, your brain will let you know what you could be doing, and then take that step. This one technique is super powerful in just helping get some momentum moving in your life. You might find yourself saying, well, I don't know what healthy is right now. This is where it can be really important and helpful to get a coach. We get a coach for piano lessons. We get a coach for any sport that we take. We get a coach if you want to learn how to cook. And so we're used to getting coaches for all kinds of things in our lives. But then when it comes to the most important things in our lives, our relationships and our identity and our functioning in life, so often we don't use the same model that we use in all these other aspects of our lives. So if you don't know what to do, get a coach that can help you navigate and know what to do to move out of the stuckness that you're in right now. Coaching options. We have many different options to be able to help you. If you'd like to coach with us, coach with somebody, do something to help yourself be able to get out of where you are. The second tip that I want to talk about is an eternal principle that you cannot give what you don't have. Pretty profound, right? Obvious, but it's true. In order to be able to be serviceable to yourself, to your kids, to anybody else, to work, to friends, You cannot give something that you don't have. One of the foundational principles of our Core Connections program and our Healthy and Happy coaching is resource management and the concept of the reservoir. And when you're sucking mud, every single one of us has a personal reservoir of energy that we function on. And as we go throughout the day, things happen to use up our resources, little drains, from as small as the shirt that I want to wear isn't clean. Something might with your car, your kid might drop a bomb that they've got, some big assignment that you didn't know they had. You might get a bill due. I'll tell you something that happened to one of my clients over the weekend. One of her friends sent her a text of her ex-husband on a dating app that her friend had matched with. So all these kinds of things happen throughout our days that drain us of our energy, that drain our resources and our reservoir. Well, what's at the bottom of a pond or reservoir? Yucky, gross stuff. I don't know if you've ever stepped into a pond, but it's really nasty. And so when we get down there, that's what we're functioning on. And I call it sucking mud. And so that happens as a normal part of our lives. The third tip that I want to talk to you about is one that exists because of where you are right now. And it's actually a really great opportunity and also a bit of a requirement. That is the fact that you need to rediscover yourself. One of the biggest casualties and most frustrating parts about going through a divorce and a tough breakup is kind of losing yourself and losing your sense of who you are. And that's a really difficult part of this. It also provides you an opportunity to do the work to really gain a much deeper and more accurate understanding of who you are, of your personality and your temperament. And you can use this moment and leverage this moment to really get your feet solidly under you so that you can launch forward in your life. You can start, if you know that there are things in your life that you love, you can start doing those things again. So one of the ways to do this, to kind of rediscover yourself, is to start by doing things that you love, that aspects that you probably lost through this torturous process. If you used to love to turn on music and dance around the kitchen, but you've been too depressed to do that, do that. Turn on that music and dance around the kitchen. If you normally really like to take hot baths and you haven't been doing that, do that. If you normally like to play games with your kids, but you haven't felt like doing that, do that. So you can start plugging back into who you are by doing things that you used to love, but that have gone by the wayside. It also is really important that you prioritize yourself. Again, back to that principle that you can't give what you don't have. It's not selfish to fill up your reservoir. What is selfish is to fill up your reservoir and not share what you filled up. Healthy management of your personal reservoir is filling it up and managing it well so that you can show up in healthy ways for the people that you want to be able to show up for. The other thing that's really important in terms of rediscovering yourself is plugging back into hope for the future. It can be really difficult to have or to feel much hope right now. But the reality is there is every reason to hope. Yes, where you are is tough. Where you were was a really tough place to be. But as you plug into that, as you plug into the reasons why you got out of where you were and you focus on what the life that you want to build, there is a bright future. There are millions of people that have traveled the road that you're traveling. And there are millions more that will travel the road that you're traveling. And the fact is that there are tons of people who have navigated this well and who are now in a very healthy place in their lives, healthy personally and healthy relationally. And if they can do it, so can you. And if you need help doing that, I can help you do that. Literally what I do. And so there is every reason to have hope for the future. You just have to do the things. You can't change the fact that you're where you are, but you can absolutely control how you cope with where you are right now. As hard as it seems right now, millions of people have been where you are right now, and millions of more will be here after you. There is a healthy way forward through this phase, through this new normal that you find yourself in right now. You are on the road to a better life. Now, you put yourself on that road or somebody else puts you on that road. You are not in the unhealthy relationship that you are in. You are on the road to a new life. Now, how you navigate this moment will determine what that new life is like. And you can take the healthy road forward, which is what I hope you do, or there are many unhealthy roads that you can take from where you are right now. But I hope that you leverage this moment in your life and that you learn the things that you need to learn, take control of who you are, find yourself again, and learn the steps necessary to be able to really become a very healthy version of yourself as you rediscover yourself in this new normal. If you're ready to continue down this road, I invite you to watch our next video on rediscovering yourself, where I go into a little bit more depth on this kind of identity crisis that you find yourself in right now.